What is going on, market makers? Good morning, everybody. The market opens in about less than 15 minutes. I'm going to make a quick video focusing on a 4-hour time frame on the S&P, the Nasdaq, and the Russell. Let's see what we're up against, okay? Guys, our Telegram signals in the link below, as well as the Discord. You can click the join button to join our Discord for education trade signals, TA, and 10,000 people on the server. Fantastic place as well. And guys, I trade all of these assets on SimpleFX. SimpleFX has equities, commodities, and of course it has a handful of cryptos as well. So $5,000 bonus, up to a $5,000 bonus if you use our link. It is a double bonus. I'm a brand ambassador for SimpleFX. So check them out if you want to make trades in these asset classes. Guys, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on. I just want to give you a quick reading here before the market open. This is pre-markets. So the Nasdaq's up 134 points, spot 1.17%. The S&P here is up spot 76%, which is 28 points. The Russell's up 0.55. So far a weak opening, and let's see if we can see why. Let's start off with the Nasdaq. Guy, in yesterday's Bitcoin video, I released that late last night, like 9:30, 10 o'clock my time. So go ahead and watch that. Nothing's really changed that I saw this morning, but I do show you this whole 55 moving average that I'm using here for trend. You can see this. I mean, look how beautiful this laid out here on the 4-hour time frame, using it as support. So this is what I'm looking at right now. And guys, we have our defined trading range in the Nasdaq, right? Wyckoff base, reaction, and here's that cut pattern over and over again I always talk about. And I know people get tired of hearing about it, but price moves in waves. So here's your wave for your price. You come up, you come down. Here's your cup again. You come up, you come down. We need to do that again as a base, okay? Get on top of our trading range and then get a breakout if we're going to be more bullish. Now, to be more bullish, what do we need, guys? We need volume and we need momentum, and we got to look at the resistance above us. For volume, I like to start off on the daily. We're not going to track the daily too much here today. I want to focus on 4-hour, but let's look at the volume, and the volume is pathetic. Okay, so I don't anticipate a strong opening unless we get a big candle. You need big candles, high relative volume like this. Okay, look at the candles. This is the candles that we're getting here on the daily for the Nasdaq. Very weak price action, which tells me if we meet key resistance, you could roll, or you could just fall down some and sit in place, right? If we are going to rally, build a base to rally, guys, this is where we're going to do it, okay? We're going to do it down here if we are going to rally, or if we're just going to roll down, because the markets are very oversold in general. I gave you some of those numbers, the worst 11 weeks for the Dow since the Great Depression. Prior to this past Friday, 5 of the last 7 trading days in equities were almost 90% down days, which hasn't happened since 1928. So these markets are dramatically oversold. The S&P, only 13% of the stocks are above their 200 moving average, which means everything's far above us, okay? So that gives you that room to move up before you meet resistance and potentially roll down again. But let's look and see how these are going to open, because the Nasdaq is doing really nice here, and so are some of the other ones. But what's our resistances we got to look at? Well, you guys know, first thing I'm going to do is throw on my Ichi. And I went over the Ichi in the Bitcoin video last night, showed you my settings. So if you want to download the same one, if you like it, feel free to use it and use my settings if you prefer them. Let's look at this. So we're just now hitting the cloud, and we're hitting the thickest part of the resistance cloud. So unless you get some velocity with your volume here, unless you get compression in your volatility, which it's not that compressed still. You see this? It's just hovering in that median channel. RSX is just above your median line, and the 4-hour volume, guys, is horrible. I mean, look at the 4-hour volume. I mean, you need, even on the 4-hour, you need these big volume bars, and you just are down left to right. You see this? You're just down below the moving average, the vast majority of these candles, okay? So I don't anticipate anything too strong here. I anticipate it's probably going up and then probably rolling back down. But you can see that on Ichi. And guys, on Ichi, always what I'm doing is looking at where the resistance starts to weaken, because remember, as price moves in a wave up and down, accumulation in Wyckoff, what happens to your cloud? Your cloud starts to get weaker, okay? Your cloud gets weaker, so what we most likely will do is follow the path of the cloud. Might get some candles up, some wicks up, come down, and at some point you're going to look, if you stay bullish trend, okay, at some point you would look to break out through the weaker part of the cloud. Now obviously if you get rejected too hard, being that there is low volume, If it's switched to selling, you're going down. Let's look at this a couple different ways. Let's go ahead and lay out a trend-based fib. So we're going to do a current wave projection here on the 4-hour time frame. So let's use this base candle, the lowest candle here, okay, on the 4-hour time frame, up to your first swing high, down to your swing low. And you can look and see exactly where you're getting rejected. Let me open this up a little bit for you guys. So look, your 618 seems to be, imagine that, right? Shock, surprise if you're a Fibonacci trader. Your 618, 2 rejections, couldn't get a close above it. 3rd rejection, couldn't get a close above it. And now today's candle is pumping up towards the 618. So what I'm going to do is watch this and see how this plays out. You have a lot of resistance here in the cloud, okay? You got a lot of resistance here in the cloud. What you need the price to do to stay in a more bullish trend like this, again, higher low structure all through the range here, but what you need price to do is flip the 618. It's most likely going to retrace, but you need to hold that 618 or hold the top of your Wyckoff box and do this exact pattern, the cup pattern that you always see with price, especially when you're in Wyckoff and you're ranging up, okay? You need to do this exact pattern, most likely accumulate, and you need bullish volume, right? Remember, volume is a leading indicator, and then we can start looking at higher up targets like the 1 fib when TradingView decides to come back online. There we go. All right, so the 1 fib, 11,000, what is that? Let me move this over, 11,000, or move it down, 896, okay? So that's the first thing I want to do here on the 4-hour time frame. And again, if you get rejected, you reverse, you were looking at your fibs to see if you hold any of this support where your previous candles have gotten to, okay? So that's what I would be doing, is looking at this both ways. Obviously, losing this 55 would be bad. You would be coming down at that juncture as well. Now, let's go ahead and move forward to the S&P. S&P, same situation. I mean, the same situation. You had your Wyckoff structure. You broke out above it. You fell back down. You made your cup. This is the pump that we traded in our signals and in our Discord, guys, and our Telegram signals and Discord. Got back above. Look where you're hitting, guys. 618. Okay, over and over. Now, you're breaking your 618 here. This is good because you've had 1 rejection, 2 rejection, 3 rejections, and now you got a candle above it. So you need to come up and make your cup. Again, it's the same thing. I know I say the same thing over and over again, guys, but this is how price moves. It moves in a wave up and down, usually in this cup type pattern. Again, you see it all the time in Wyckoff when you're making a base. I would actually probably move my Wyckoff structure up here even. Let me look at doing that here, my mini Koff structure. Go ahead, and we got Ichi turned on now as well. And look at this. I mean, you're coming right up to your cloud, okay? So you're coming up to your cloud. This, by the way, is my 45 angle. If you lose that, you're bearish. Again, look at this. So you have some room here on the S&P to come up before you hit some stronger resistance. If you hit that resistance, you could be in the same situation where you're falling back to support, trying to hold this upper echelon structure above 37.48, so basically above 37.50, and try to snake around this, okay? And again, guys, just like with any asset class, there's nothing to stop you from coming up, making your cup, and then really just accelerating. What stops you is the market. You got to have buyers in the market. And again, let's look at our volume here real quick on the S&P on the daily. Volume is weak. I mean, look at your volume. So we need more volume to come up. And if that volume can come up, we can have some more momentum, but we just don't have, look at the volume left to right, just down. The only volume above, well above moving average was selling volume. Okay. These white candles are color coded for basically being null. It's below average volume. So low volume, guys, remember low volume, if you get price rises in low volume, you're more inclined when you hit key resistance to fall back to support, okay? Volume divergence. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Go back to the 4-hour here. So we have the cloud here, we have the 45, and you just got to be careful as you make this cup. You know, you can start making shapes like double tops and different things. But right now, we're just about almost at open. What time is it? It is 9:26. Opens in 4 minutes. So it looks like we're going to get a little bullish. I wouldn't be surprised if we get a little bullish and then maybe have a whipsaw again like we did yesterday. Okay, yesterday we opened up down and then we got positive and then we closed negative. And then we had a reversal in after hours markets again and pump back up again, okay? So these are whipsaw markets up here. Good for scalping, good for small trades if you can follow the trend very closely, but not a big move yet, okay? We don't have a big move. Look at our volatility. Is our volatility expanded? Volatility is, like I said, is still in the middle there. So yeah, nothing too fantastic here. Now, guys, when I do long equities, I trade indexes. I don't particularly focus on a stock. Indexes are easier to track. They respect TA because I don't want to long or short Tesla when I see, when I see the actual market, the index may be going down, but Tesla may have good news, and then Tesla goes up. It's hard. It's just adding complication and risk. You can long and short the indexes. I've done this very successfully, as the guys in the group know. So this is something that I like to watch very closely, is the indexes. Now, when I long, I usually long the S&P because it is the strongest. Remember, the S&P stays strongest the longest in the last two bubbles. Okay, it stays strongest the longest. Tech gets smashed. So when I short, I tend to short the Russell first, if I can find a good resistance entry level, and then the Nasdaq. Okay, the Nasdaq has the big FANG stock, so it has a lot of strength still, but the Russell is a bunch of garbage companies. Let's look at the 4-hour on the Russell, see what we got here. Russell, same thing. Okay, we're trying to come back up. I mean, again, shock and surprise. Look where your key resistance is, 618 at 1701. Got it rejected twice here, fell back into your range. Got rejected again, fell back. So let's see what happens. The Russell is weaker. We're not having a strong up move yet in the pre-markets here, so we'll see if we can get up and test this again. You did get above it here, and then you fell back down again. Of course, this was a deep retracement, and look where you fell to, guys. Your whole moving average and your 45 angle. Again, you guys know I love confluence, right? I like the trade of confluence. When I find things that work, I'm very happy because it makes my life easier as a trader. So we're struggling at the 0.5 at 1693. And again, you have your cup pattern that's already formed here on the 4-hour. We have our Wyckoff range, our base, our ceiling, got above it, couldn't hold it, but we did make, what did we make in basic TA, guys? A higher low. Round 2 came back, and now we have our cup. So can we get a breakout from the cup to some resistance, or are we going to have yet another failure? So again, we got to watch and see how this plays out, but let's throw our key resistances on here as well, the visualization of resistance, which is done very well by Ichi. So our cloud's up a little bit. So if we get some momentum, now remember, I mean, look at this cloud, guys. This is just a thick cloud. Now, even with this thick cloud, as you accumulate in range, you're still doing this, okay? Maybe that's a little bit too dramatic of a tuck-in. Might be something more like that. But you're still doing this. So you have room to move up here, and obviously this would be a great target, 1729, if you could come up and get a pump off of this, okay? Come up to that 1729 area and get a rejection. But I'm watching this 618, guys, and again, this may not be a big trade. I want to see what the markets do, if they open positive, if they go get some strength in the opening. Remember, the beginning of the day, end of the day. Those are the two biggest moves of the day. It tends to fade, whatever the move is. If it's a positive move in the morning, it can slow down around lunch, that time period. At the end of the day, you could pick up momentum again, okay? So we'll have to see how that plays out. Let's look at our indicators really quickly. I'll get this video up for you guys. So again, it's the same problem. You're not contracted, you're not expanded, so you have room to move, but you want this type of explosion, right? You want that type of explosion for a move. And again, even on your 4-hour volume, you're getting some candles up and down, which is indicative of the ranging, right? The whipsaw that you're doing. But this is, I mean, look at the size difference. I mean, this is what we're talking about, breakout volume or breakdown volume. That's what you want to see. And always measure this against the daily volume, guys. The daily is key when I'm looking at volume and everything. All right, guys, this quick video, I'm going to go ahead and put this up for you. Track your fib levels, lay out your waves. Pretty easy to spot the waves here on the 4-hour time frame, going to your swing low, to your swing high, to your most recent swing low. Okay, you're doing that on the Russell, the S&P, the Nasdaq. 4-hour time frame has good power. It is a good trading time frame. Check out SimpleFX and check out Market Makers. All the info in the video description. Have a fantastic trading day, guys.